do you want me?
Oh, wherever you want to be, mate, really. It's all good. It's Dale, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names. You know, forget my own name, honestly.
I'm good with faces, but I'm shit with names.
I'm really good with motorbikes. I've got thousands of customers, and I can remember their bike and what I did to it.
I need a bike, yeah.
Yeah, I can, but yeah, trying to remember who the... You're filming, aren't you? Yeah, of course you are. Right. Welcome back, guys. So I'm with Dale from Zero Motorcycles. Now, as you know, this is the one I've been excited about, and I've got to say I'm pretty ignorant, really. I've kind of intentionally not done any homework. I want you to show me its features.
Okay.
Tell me about it. I mean, it looks amazing to start with. I love this urban camo type. Anyway, let's not talk about the paintwork because it's about the technology, isn't it?
This is a Zero DSR.
Right.
DSR stands for Dual Sport and R version. So this is an
Okay.
R version, a normal R version of any motorcycle is
Yeah.
increased performance, increased torque,
Okay.
increased horsepower.
Right.
But this is a DSR. This is probably one of our most common, best sold motorcycles.
Yeah.
You know, it's an electric motorcycle. We only produce electric
Yeah.
motorcycles, and your battery is basically
That massive, great big tank in the middle there.
here.
Yeah.
That is your battery.
Okay.
Underneath is your charger.
Yeah.
The back there.
That's the brushless motor. I looked underneath and there's all the heat sink on the...
That's correct.
On
And
the
that's
motor.
to spread the heat around
Yeah.
the place. On the back here is your DC to DC
Okay.
converter. So it's very, very simple. You have a throttle which links to a controller,
Yeah.
which tells to a BMS,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is a battery monitoring system,
Okay.
which then ties your motor, your battery, your
Yeah.
controller together. Your controller is like your
Yeah.
carburetor.
So I'm really familiar with the whole drone world.
Yeah.
So speed controllers and batteries, and I mean it's a three-phase motor. I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's basically a great big multi-rotor motor, isn't it, Benji?
It's a 120 volt motor.
Right,
So the
okay.
battery produces 120 volts.
Yeah.
And it transforms down to 12 volts.
Okay.
The electric system, which is
Yeah,
your
yeah,
standard sort of system that you would have on
Yeah,
any
yeah,
bike,
of
as you
course.
know.
Yeah.
And you know, you could leave you can run heated jackets, you can run your heated grips, and it doesn't
Okay.
affect the longevity of the bike at
Okay.
all.
Fair
But the
play.
battery's warranted for 250,000 miles.
Is it really?
250,000 miles.
Wow.
And
Okay.
People look at it and say, okay, it's 5-year warranty. What happens after 5 years? Well,
Yeah.
oh yeah, man, you know.
Yeah, you're not doing
You're not going to do
250,000
250,000 miles in
You know,
5
you've
years.
got to be super keen. Yeah.
And a battery's 5k.
Right.
But if you went and bought a CBR 600 motor, it probably wouldn't be a lot different.
Or get a motor rebuilt.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
it's not a massive deal,
Yeah,
really.
okay, fair play. It's beautiful, isn't it? Can we switch it on and have a look at the
I'll pull
look
that
at
out.
the dash?
I'll pull that out of the way.
Right.
But this is your dash. So what you have here is this here is your idiot's guide to how much power you've got
Yeah,
left,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And it's okay because
Okay.
when you're riding, you want to be able to see something big straight
Yeah.
away and see that number, and you know where you are.
Okay.
On average, if you ride on a motorway, you'll get a percent a mile.
Yeah.
So 100%, 100 miles.
Okay.
If you're
With this capacity battery.
with that capacity battery,
Right.
and that's on the motorway, because and I'll show you
Yeah,
why
yeah.
in a second. Your range is far more accurate than this.
Than that, yeah, that
that's saying
percentage, right.
271 kilometers, and that's because it's drawing on the wheel spindle with no load. So that's
Okay.
showing
Yeah, yeah,
higher
yeah,
than you would
yeah.
expect.
Yeah.
But what usually happens here is that the trip or the range is based upon how you've been riding the
Yeah,
bike.
so it's constantly updating. There's an algorithm in
time.
there working out the amount of load you put it under.
Exactly.
And, yeah,
So
okay.
if you can look at that, but really it's that
Yeah,
that
it's
is
the
telling you how
range
much
that's-
you've got.
yeah, okay,
And if
fair
you get to 0% on that,
Right.
this will probably tell you you've got about 10 miles left.
Okay. Fair
And
play.
and how this works is you have regeneration on this. So you
Okay.
have regeneration through the front wheel, through the back wheel,
Okay.
through the motor. And how this
So,
happens,
is there something in the hub, is there?
yeah, so what you've got a hub-mounted generator.
Okay.
So essentially what happens, it's the same in the back. If you pull the front brake,
Okay.
you're effectively triggering the brake sensor
Right,
switch,
yep.
which then powers the
Okay,
motor,
and that-
and that regenerates.
Yeah, of course.
So-
And that's, I know from my experience with three-phase motors that, you know, it's hard to turn then, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting some braking efficiency, and that energy's been
Correct.
turned into...
And that's exactly what
yeah,
it is.
that energy's
And
been
you
turned
get
into power.
on the front brake, when you're watching the regeneration, which I'll show you in a second,
Okay.
you get a load of regeneration
Yeah,
from that.
yeah.
You can tune the regeneration in
Right,
to it
okay.
as well, which I'll
Fair
show you in a
play.
second as well.
Awesome.
But you're
So talking about charging, this, I'm guessing, see, I know nothing about electric vehicles. Is this a standard, the thing inside on
that so much isn't standard, but the other end that goes into your charging point is. So
Okay.
this is an early.
Right. What I mean is, so if you're on the side of the road or you're on motorway services with a charging point, is this a universal type
So what you've got,
deal?
that isn't, but this end here
Right.
is a Type 2 charger.
Okay.
So you'll see these at most stations.
Right. Okay.
So that plugs into here. This then plugs
So
into the
you've got to carry
charge
a wire
station.
with you, is what you're saying? In the
Yeah,
right.
top
Okay.
box.
Yeah. All right. fair
And
dues.
that's how it is. And this
Yeah.
here is sorry.
That's all right.
This here is plugs in the system, and that's
Right.
about an hour and a half from flat to full.
Oh wow. Okay. That's
From
quite
flat
quick.
to full.
Right. Okay.
That'll cost you about £2.
Right.
£2 for 140
That's awesome,
mile.
innit? The future's coming in it.
Yeah.
Fair dues.
And then this
Yeah.
here. So this then plugs into here, which is like a
So that's your one for when you're at home.
kettle cable,
So that's the
Kettle socket, that's
slow
what it-
charge version.
and that will
Right.
give you 8 hours
Okay.
from flat to full.
From flat to full.
overnight.
Right,
basically.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
But what people do is they charge overnight.
Okay. So again, plug it into their neighbour's.
That's what people do, is they plug it into the neighbour's house. But better than that, people usually drive to work and plug it in at work,
yeah,
and do the
absolutely.
bulk of the charge at work,
Yeah.
and then top it up at home. So if
Fair
you can
play.
imagine free fuel back and forth. I know the bean counters will change that
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah.
But initially that's how it works.
Yeah.
Last year on this bike, I went to Germany.
Right.
I did 800 miles in 6 days.
Right.
I charged up it with this
Yeah.
in the hotel over the night.
Right.
So for free, and then I got 100 miles on the autobahns,
Yeah.
which was safe.
Yeah.
I'd then pull over and charge with this in an hour and a half.
Right.
And I'd be away for another 80, 90 miles, and then I'd stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
And that was easy. And in Germany, you wouldn't believe how many of these are free.
Okay.
Shocked.
Fair play.
Shocked. £5 for 690 miles. I did £5.
That is cheap, isn't it?
And
That
it
is
wasn't
cheap
difficult.
motorcycling. Right.
It wasn't difficult.
So no range anxiety. You're not worrying about
No.
finding. So this is an optional extra, is it? This fast charge,
That's
because you've
cool.
got that one down there.
It's called a charge tank. So
Charge
you have
tank.
3 different forms of charging. You have
Okay.
your mains,
Yeah.
you have your charge tank,
Yeah.
and you've got a fast charger, which is kind of a halfway house between
Okay.
these two. And it plugs into the mains still.
Right. So that's a separate physical box.
It's a box, it's a transformer. It
Okay.
recharges in a faster time.
Right.
So this takes 8 hours from flat
Okay.
to full. That fast charger will take 4 hours
and that
from flat
fast
to full.
charger, does that go into here or into the?
No, it goes in the top box.
Oh, okay.
If you carry it around with you, but usually it's if you put it somewhere where you want to charge fast. So
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
going to go to work and you're only going to be at work for 5 hours,
Yeah, yeah.
you'd have it at
Right,
work
okay.
with you because it's
Yeah,
a bit
I'm
bulky
with
to
you.
carry around.
And
But
the
it's 600 quid.
and the way you physically connect that charger, is it through this port here?
You can't quite see it, but it's
Oh, there's
it's
another
literally
port.
at the back. It's
Oh,
a
I
fast
see.
charging port at this point.
Right. Okay.
You can't quite feel it, but it's just around here.
Yeah. God, look at the thickness of those wires going to that motor. I bet it pulls some current, does it? That motor when it's got full beans.
It's a 120 volt motor.
Okay.
I'm not sure what current it's pulling,
Okay.
but I know what torque it's putting
Yeah,
out
yeah.
is 115 foot-pound of torque, which
Fair
is
play. That's
Panigale's 105 and an R1's 80. So through that tyre,
See, that is. Yeah, that puts it. Yeah, that puts it in perspective, doesn't it?
115 foot-pound of torque, about 65. The range between 40 and 65 horsepower.
Right.
So not massive horsepower.
Yeah, but it's the torque, isn't it?
that's
Excuse me, which is
propel you forward.
it's the torque, isn't it? You want. That's the real world sort of power you want. It's just. Yeah, start it up.
I'll just show you this before we do that. Look, just this is one of the cool things of this bike. Really, this is where you can't do with a petrol bike. Is
There's an app.
there is an app, and this is it. So what you got here?
Is it Android and
You
iOS?
can get it in whichever suits you, really.
Okay.
So basically, what this does, this gives you a running commentary of your motorcycle. Bluetooth to this isn't Bluetooth to this particular bike.
Okay.
But what it will do is, if you're sitting in the house and you want to go for a ride,
Yeah.
you don't need to go in the garage to find out what the crack is with your bike.
Okay.
You've got it on here. This tells you all the stats that you'd want to know about the bike, how many times you've charged it since new,
Yeah.
how many miles you've covered, how much money you've saved, various other things.
Right.
But the coolest part about it is probably in the drive setup, which basically you can program in your custom top speed, your whatever horsepower you want, or your regeneration through your motor or through your brakes. Now, regeneration is engine braking.
Yeah.
So if you program
with a closed throttle without touching the brakes,
then you'll slow down quicker.
Okay, right.
And
so variable engine braking, basically. That's pretty cool.
You can tailor your ride. To your ride.
Yeah.
And that basically, you access this by going through into custom mode.
Okay.
So that is custom mode. You've chosen your custom ride through your app.
Yeah.
Sport is maximum everything.
Okay.
But minimum engine braking.
Okay.
Or regeneration.
Fair play.
And then Eco is it blunts torque,
it
blunts horsepower, and it gives you a top speed of about 70.
And your range obviously.
And your range fires up. Less is more.
So question, when you initially so the micro switch for the stoplight like a normal bike. So when you activate that micro switch, do you feel a reduction in speed as you're coming onto the brake from the generation from the hubs?
Not really.
No?
You feel a reduction in speed when the brake is biting, but you're
but
never aware of a drag.
Right, okay. So
it's not like a clutch drag or anything like that. So I'm selecting Eco mode.
Yeah.
If you look at this here is your output line. So when you're riding your bike, you would normally see the fact that you're taking power. You see the bars rising?
Yeah.
And then under the line is regeneration. So here we are, we're cruising at 123 kilometers an hour. All we're doing is taking power. We're not putting anything back in because we're not changing the throttle.
Yeah.
The minute I let the throttle off and the wheel's turning, it's regenerating.
Yeah.
So taking power, regenerating. Taking power, regenerating.
Yeah.
And that's why...
You can hear that motor under load almost as it's going the other way, can't you?
And that's why on a motorway, it won't do as many miles as it will in a town.
Yeah, you're not doing the
on-off brakes.
Yeah, I understand.
That's how it works.
I understand. That's brilliant. And it's direct drive, the motor, right? There's no gearbox involved.
Not a single thing. There's no
cooling. And it's belt drive, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So the output shaft literally got a pulley directly on the end of the. So no gearbox to worry about. No gearbox oil.
Nope.
So that brings me neatly to my question: maintenance. What about maintenance? Obviously, brake. There's brake pads, right?
Well,
there's fork seals.
It's a motorcycle.
Yeah.
You know, so the only part that is maintenance free to a degree is this
the
portion
drive
of the bike.
unit.
It's the drive unit. It's the powertrain.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a motorcycle. So you want wheel bearings, you want fork oil, you want tires, brake pads. Belt.
Because from a repairer's point of view, I make money repairing. I don't retail bikes. I make my money repairing them. The future's coming. So for guys like me, independent guys, or let's talk about your 12 dealers in the UK.
12 dealers,
right?
That's how we've got now.
Are they solely Zero? Are they in amongst other franchises?
We've probably got 2 or 3 that are solely Zero.
Okay.
Or solely electric, I would say.
Okay, so they've got other brands that are electric. Right. Okay. And so in their workshops, is there a service schedule like with a normal bike? Or?
It's a time scale or it's by miles. So 7,000 miles or 12 months is your service.
Right.
Your service is 75 quid. It's less than an hour.
That's great for the end user, not so great for the dealer.
I know. I know, and there is, so the dealer gets warranty work, gets normal repair work. But the guys that are using these, and probably a pal in Northumberland, he's done 15,000 miles in a year.
Right.
Pardon me. He's using his from Otterburn to Newcastle every day, come what may.
Yeah.
So he's generating 2 services a year.
Yeah, he's burning
wearing the bike
tyres,
out.
isn't he, and stuff. That belt drive, that goes for a long time, maybe before it needs
20,000 miles.
20,000 miles.
That's
and then
the
it's a change, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right. Okay. Fair play. That's awesome. So, obviously, your dealer network, 12 dealers, right? They're authorised to repair them because we're talking high voltage there,
120 volts.
You could do yourself some harm with 120 volts, couldn't you?
Well, I have in my life. I'm thinking, I was an electrician years ago, and I have had a few belts here and there. Nothing to do with this bike, I might add.
So in terms of the training for the dealers,
it's all done in Holland.
It's all done in Holland. So they get shipped off to Holland, and
the main part is making the bike safe to work on.
Right. Okay.
So it's generally they have a capacitor to discharge any pent-up charge that's in this bike.
So there's a big, massive breaker for the battery.
Correct.
So you disconnect the battery,
then you're safe.
Put your cap on, it sucks all the power out of all the systems, and then
crack on
then. Yeah. Right, okay.
And that's so simple.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I forgot to tell you, which is for you, which is an odd one.
Right.
Back on the app is at this point here, you can do This email logs. Email logs is there's a log system that manages through the BMS.
Okay.
The bike.
Yeah.
And it manages the
bike
battery.
management system.
The whole lot. That's what it is. A battery management system.
Battery management system.
But you can
right, okay.
email the logs to the factory to have the logs read for you.
Okay,
if
that's
there's
cool.
a fault. And as a technician, you're working on it and you want to know what it's saying.
Okay.
Then you email them to Holland or America. They come back and tell you what the crack is, and away you go.
Fair play.
And then you can do firmware updates as well. So you can update the software and firmware on the bike at the push of a button.
That's awesome.
But the odd thing is I want our technicians to know what's wrong with it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And what'll happen through experience, you'll always know what that fault is because you've seen it 10 times before. But you'll be reading the logs in a couple of years' time because you'll have the experience to do it.
No, of course,
That's what has to happen.
Which is how it is now. I've been doing it 30 years, so we've got diagnostic. I've got an oscilloscope and a diagnostic machine.
Perfect.
And there's, I understand this stuff. So
in-house.
Absolutely.
We want the guy to be diagnosed in-house.
Well, that's why the customer's paying you. They're paying you for your knowledge, aren't they?
That's right.
They don't want to have to say. You don't want to have to say to a customer, "Well, I don't know. I've got to speak to somebody else."
Confidence.
It's confidence.
A lot of times it's confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the guys have all got the skills to do it. They just need the confidence to believe that they're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That comes with experience.
Yeah. Listen, Dale, that's been amazing. And you say we can turn up and maybe work out a road test and do a bit of filming and stuff.
I'd love that.
That'd be amazing. That'd be really cool. We make a real cool episode of that, couldn't we, Benji? Yeah, that's brilliant, mate. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. That's great.
Thanks for looking at it.
Cheers.